welcome back, coaches, athletes, and sports fans. Coach Michael Fields here again, bringing you this new series this week. We're sticking with drills. This is just kind of position drills. This is group work, team drills, individual drills, and we're going to cover a little bit of everything this week. We're going to start with our basic tackling progression, which everybody should definitely be installing first couple weeks of the season. First week, we start with it day 1, day 2 in our non-contact, and move up. Then we're going to get into O-line work, about O-linemen, a little bit of O-line and coaching some O-line for quite a while. I like to make sure we work O-linemen, D-line kind of positional work, and then we're going to kind of work into the offensive skills and then our defensive backfield to finish up the series for the week. Probably have some team ideas, group work, kind of pod work is what some guys are calling some group work these days. Positional work, whatever name you've got it, we're going to try and cover that in some capacity this week. So starting out with tackling is just the basic. We're a shoulder tackling team, so if your system's different, you may have a little bit different progression here. Most popular tackling system is that shoulder or hawk tackling. The Seattle Seahawks kind of made it popular the last decade or so. It's a rugby style tackle where we're using our shoulder, kind of the front part, the upper pec and shoulder to attack. We're keeping our head out of the way. We're really trying to be safe in this game of football. If your head's up certified, USA football, which hopefully coaches are, this progression should look pretty familiar. We all have our own variants of how we run this and the order of it. So this is kind of how, ironically, I used to run the youth tackling, teaching our youth program here in town. We'd have 4 or 5 teams, and I ran the tackling station in what we did for our 2-week camp. We always ran a camp where all the players, all the young athletes were grouped together. This was a 4th, 5th, 6th grade, 5th, 6th grade, the last year we did it. And I ran that station for 4 or 5 years. It's almost the same progression our high school uses once I moved up to the high school, and we tried to mix in most of this at the middle school level. So hopefully if you're doing this and you've got a good program from your youth to your middle school to your high school, it should be a lot of review, right? But the basic tackling progression, we start with our stance drill, right? And we have our 4 key words: our feet, our sink, squeeze, and hands. So the feet is just to remind our athletes to get their feet in the right position. So we kind of stomp to 1, 2. We sink, that's when we drop our hips, bend our knees, get in that athletic position. The squeeze is to get that big chest so that we're in a good tackling position. And then hands is just get the hands ready so we can shoot those uppercuts. Typically next in that, after we work the stance, we're going to start from the stance. We're going to sprint. Sometimes we're going to do this for 5 yards, maybe it's 10 yards. Then we're going to have a bag, or we're going to have a set of cones out. We're going to have something, and they're going to swoop. And that's, it's years ago when we used to call it breakdown. Well, breakdown, people thought slow down, so we changed it to that swoop. That's when we're sprinting, we're a little taller, we're dropping back into that stance, getting ready to attack that ball carrier and make that tackle. So stance to swoop. And then you can switch these. The order these next two really doesn't matter, just depends on, again, how you like to teach your progression. Next thing we like to teach, and I used to teach even at the youth level, is shooting those uppercuts. And so the first drill for that's when you get the agility bag, the long agility bag, and you lay it on the ground. You got them on their knees, and their toes, the laces are facing the ground, so laces in the grass, and they're gonna sink, right? They're gonna do everything but the feet because they're on their knees now, and they're gonna sink, squeeze the back, get the big chest, get the hands out, and then they're gonna shoot the hips, which throw the uppercuts. So a lot of people, talk uppercuts, but it's really hips, especially in today with some of the newer methods. We're looking for blocking and defeating blocks. It's more about hips than it is, we used to say low man wins. Now it's hips win. So get our hips, and we're going to sink those hips and shoot the hips to throw those uppercuts. So what we're doing in this drill is we're on our knees again. We're shooting the hips, throwing the uppercuts, and we're landing on that bag. It's really to exaggerate that hip, throwing the hips to toss the uppercuts, landing on the bag. One thing I always emphasize is squeezing that bag. So once we hit, squeeze, because we want to wrap up when we tackle. So when we get around, when we land on that bag, squeeze the bag before we stand up. And you got to learn how to land and, protect your body, keep your face, keep, some things out of the way. We're not smashing on the bag there. Next is leverage. So now we're going to take that same agility bag we had laying down. And we can progress with the hips and uppercuts as the season goes on. We've installed it. That's when we get the Vizio ball and, have them run straight at you, bounce the ball at them, shoot the hips on the run, send them at a 45 each direction. Same idea with that Vizio ball. You're bouncing it. What we like to do is as the season progresses, we take our 7, 8, 9 lines, however many we got, depending on the number of players, and a coach stands in front, and we're just bouncing that. They come straight at us, but we're still talking leverage with that. So this is kind of a transition, both of these drills here. So leverage, that's, runners this way, we're tracking the near hip, and we're going to leverage with our left shoulder, left foot. So we kind of run at the angle. We start with agility bag, holding it up, no movement, and they just run out, and they're going to, come right at it, and they're going to attack. And we have them tag off kind of where the hip would be. They're going to just tag that bag. They're going to split the defender with the foot, tag the bag, right? So we go left and we switch right, or right then left, however you call it out. And we're just doing that leverage drill. Then we'll start to move that bag. So now their partner, right, who's holding the bag, will kind of run straight at them, leverage to the left, leverage to the right. Then we 45 it, same idea that we talked about with the Vizio ball. But we're working leverage here. We're not necessarily working the uppercuts. So you can go leverage first, then hips, or hips, then leverage, depending on how you like to kind of work your athletes. Okay. Once we've gone through that, we want to teach the thigh and drive. And again, we can start this with a partner in the bag. We can start it, not even in pads yet, with just a partner, no bag. And we're just going to teach that. We always have them on the one knee. That's going to be the knee that attacks. Then they stand up and get that leverage on the bag, and they hit the bag, thigh and drive. They're going to pick up the bag and drive for 5. So we finish every tackle, right? Because if we keep our feet moving, that drive for 5, we should win the tackle, because hopefully the runner, he's doing the same thing. We want to beat that runner, get that low leverage, hit him in the thigh, take the legs out. If you got wrestlers on the team, it's kind of like, it's grabbing that double leg almost. So we want to do the thigh and drive. So again, start them on the knee, then we go in and we back them up, and we go, we swoop in, hit, drive for 5. And we can even do it with a partner. If we're doing it with a partner, we're probably going to drive them to the ground. So we want to make sure we've done this a few days, so we've built up to it. It's all scaffolding, right? Starting with stance, swoop, uppercuts and hits, and then leverage before we get to thigh and drive. So we've built that foundation. Guys know how to fall as a partner, tucking that chin if you're the guy, falling back so that you're less likely to smack your head on the ground, with or without helmets, preferably with. So we're building that neck strength, right? Then after thigh and drive, we go thigh and roll. So that's the same idea. We're going to leverage and use our momentum. We're going to gator roll, and we're going to roll to the side and just kind of roll that runner down. That's more of an open field move, usually kind of a one-on-one. Using your momentum, you're at an angle, kind of full speed, swoop and roll. And so that's when we're going to teach that. Same thing though, we're still leveraging with a shoulder, and then we're just going to use our body weight to turn and bring that tackler down, right? That's our basic tackling progression with our stance, our swoop, our shoot the hips or shoot the uppercuts by throwing the hips, our leverage drills, our thigh and drive, our thigh and roll. And once we get all that in, at a kind of a 50, 75, 80% speed, then we're ready to go live and actually do some one-on-one tackling. And again, we want quick whistles on that. We don't want to drive guys in the ground, get guys hurt. We got to watch our contact hours these days. So we want to minimize full contact. A lot of times we'll do that to thud and just drive them back. But at some point, still football, we still get a tackle. So we're going to partner up. And instead of the bag on a leverage drill, we're going to have a partner, hit and drive. Then we're going to hit, take him to the ground, probably day 4, 5, 6 maybe, first day of week 2, whatever it is, in order to make sure we're building in safe technique, keeping guys safe, and the guy getting tackled. He's fallen a few times. He's learned how to hit the ground a little better, again, just so we're keeping guys safe. So, again, thanks for watching. Coach Michael Fields. You want to find me on Instagram, it's Coach Michael Fields. You can find me on Twitter at Michael K. Fields. And of course, email me, coachmichaelfields@gmail.com. Really appreciate talking football. Be the rest of this week, more drills, positional work, group work, and just sharing what I've got for you. Once again, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share. Let me know what you think by commenting below as well.